In a world where family isn't defined by blood, follow the Harrisons as they navigate the choppy waters of adoption, guided by ancient Stoic wisdom. Watch as they face unexpected challenges, confront painful truths, and discover the true meaning of family. This heart-wrenching yet inspiring journey will make you question what it really means to be resilient in the face of life's greatest trials. The autumn leaves were falling in Boston when Sarah and Michael Harrison received the call that would change their lives forever. After years of waiting, they were finally chosen to adopt a child. Their hearts raced as they drove to the adoption agency, minds swirling with dreams of the family they would become. But nothing could have prepared them for Emily. The 7-year-old girl they met had eyes that seemed to hold the weight of the world. Her small frame was tense, ready to flee at any moment. As they introduced themselves, Emily's gaze remained fixed on the floor, her responses barely audible. The social worker's words echoed in their ears. Emily's had a difficult past. She'll need patience, understanding, and a lot of love. Sarah and Michael exchanged a look, silently vowing to be everything this child needed. The first weeks were a whirlwind of adjustment. Emily, like a skittish cat, seemed to be constantly on edge. She spoke little, ate less, and slept fitfully. Sarah and Michael, drawing on the Stoic principle of focusing only on what they could control, poured their energy into creating a safe, nurturing environment. They set up a cozy bedroom for Emily, filled with soft lights and plush toys. Michael spent evenings reading to her, even when she wouldn't look at him. Sarah learned to cook Emily's favorite meals, leaving them out like offerings to a wary woodland creature. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, things began to change. Emily started to linger at the dinner table a little longer. Her nightmares became less frequent. And one day, as Michael read her favorite story, she leaned ever so slightly against his arm. As weeks turned into months, the Harrisons settled into a routine. Emily started school, a challenge that tested them all. Sarah and Michael attended parent-teacher conferences, their hearts swelling with pride at Emily's progress, even as they worried about her struggles to connect with peers. At home, Emily began to open up in small ways. She shared fragments of her past, happy memories of a brother, painful recollections of foster homes. Each revelation was like a piece of a complex puzzle, helping the Harrisons understand the depths of Emily's experiences. One evening, as Sarah tucked Emily into bed, the little girl whispered, "Are you going to send me away?" The question hung in the air, heavy with fear and hope. Sarah, her voice steady despite the lump in her throat, replied, "No, Emily. You're home now. Forever." As autumn gave way to winter, an unexpected revelation shook the Harrison household. During a routine visit with the social worker, Emily let slip that she had an older brother, Jake, from whom she'd been separated in the foster system. The news hit the Harrisons like a thunderbolt. Sarah and Michael found themselves facing a Stoic dilemma: accept what they couldn't change, or fight to reunite the siblings? After nights of discussion and deep reflection, they decided they would. Search for Jake, no matter how difficult the process might be. Emily, sensing her adoptive parents' determination, began to lower her defenses. For the first time, she hugged them spontaneously, whispering an almost inaudible, "Thank you." This moment of vulnerability marked a turning point in their family. Dynamic, paving the way for a deeper, more authentic connection between them. The search for Jake became a mission for the Harrisons. Sarah, applying the Stoic principle of focusing only on what's within her control, immersed herself in research and endless phone calls to adoption agencies. Michael, in turn, channeled his energy into creating an even more welcoming environment for Emily, preparing her for the possibility of reuniting with her brother. Emily, spurred by the hope of seeing Jake again, began to open up more. During a painting session with Sarah, she shared precious memories of her brother, how he protected her, the stories he invented to distract her during difficult times. The adoptive family was transforming. The challenge united them in unexpected ways, each finding strength in the others. As Epictetus taught, they were learning to make the best use of what is in our power and take the rest as it comes. As the search for Jake continued, new challenges emerged. Emily's school contacted them, concerned about her introverted behavior, and occasional outbursts of anger. Sarah and Michael found themselves torn between the search for Emily's brother and the need to help her adapt to school life. Simultaneously, Michael's parents, traditionalists initially skeptical about adoption, announced a visit. The prospect of introducing Emily to her adoptive grandparents added a new layer of complexity to the situation. Emily, sensing the growing tension, began to withdraw again. One night, Sarah found her hiding in the closet, clutching a backpack full of her possessions. The fear of abandonment was resurfacing with full force, inspired by Marcus Aurelius's words, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Michael decided to approach each challenge with calm determination. The visit from Michael's parents, Robert and Eleanor, brought long repressed tensions to the surface. While Emily struggled to impress her new grandparents, Eleanor couldn't hide her discomfort with the situation. During a tense dinner, she let slip a comment about true blood ties. The silence that followed was deafening. Emily, tears in her eyes, ran from the table. Sarah, struggling to maintain composure, remembered Seneca's words, "Anger is a short madness." Taking a deep breath, she addressed Eleanor with surprising calm, explaining the depth of love they felt for Emily. Michael, torn between his family of origin and his new family, found strength in the Stoic teaching that virtue is the only true good. He defended his adopted daughter with a conviction that surprised everyone, including himself. An unexpected phone call from the social worker brought bittersweet news. Jake had been located, but the situation was complicated. He had been in a stable adoptive family for years and had developed deep bonds with them. The possibility of a reunion between the siblings was in the hands of Jake's adoptive parents. Meanwhile, Emily began showing signs of extreme anxiety. Her nightmares returned in full force, and she started isolating herself at school. Emily's teacher, concerned, suggested a psychological evaluation. Sarah and Michael found themselves in a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. The hope of reuniting the siblings clashed with the fear of further destabilizing Emily. Remembering Epictetus's words, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they actually do," they prepared themselves to accept any outcome. While waiting for news about Jake, the Harrisons focused on strengthening their family bonds. Sarah decided to take temporary leave from work to dedicate herself fully to Emily. Together, they began creating a courage book where Emily could express her fears and achievements through drawings and short stories. Michael, inspired by his daughter's resilience, started a support group for adoptive parents in the local community. He found comfort in Marcus Aurelius's words, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Surprisingly, it was Eleanor, the initially reluctant grandmother, who took a significant step towards acceptance. After reflecting on her behavior, she asked to spend a day alone with Emily. Together, they planted a small garden, symbolizing the growth of their relationship. The news that Jake's adoptive parents had agreed to a meeting fell like a bombshell. In the Harrison household, the conditions were strict: a single supervised meeting with no guarantees of future contact. This long-awaited moment now brought with it a torrent of conflicting emotions. Emily, oscillating between euphoria and terror, began to exhibit regressive behaviors. Her nightmares intensified, and she started having bedwetting accidents again, something that hadn't occurred in months. Sarah and Michael, torn between the desire to reunite the siblings and the fear of re-traumatizing Emily, sought strength in Stoic teachings. "What's good for the hive is good for the bee," Sarah reflected, quoting Marcus Aurelius. They realized that the decision wasn't about their desires, but about Emily's long-term well-being. With heavy hearts but determined minds, they began preparing Emily for the meeting that could change everything. The day of the meeting arrived, bringing with it a storm of emotions. On the way to the neutral location chosen for the reunion, Emily clutched her courage book as if it were a talisman. Sarah and Michael exchanged tense glances, each seeking strength in the other. As they entered the room, time seemed to freeze. Jake, now a 14-year-old teenager, was there with his adoptive parents. The silence was deafening until Emily, in an act of courage that surprised everyone, stepped forward. "Jake?" Her voice trembled. "Do you remember me?" What followed was an emotional roller coaster. Jake, initially hesitant, soon found himself in tears as he recognized his younger sister. The Harrisons watched, their hearts divided between joy and apprehension, aware that this moment could change everything. The 2 hours of the meeting passed like a whirlwind. Emily and Jake, overcoming initial shyness, shared memories and updates from their lives. Both sets of adoptive parents watched, a mix of emotions on their faces. As time ran out, the reality of the situation began to weigh heavily. Jake, visibly emotional, expressed his desire to stay in touch with Emily. His adoptive parents exchanged worried glances, while the Harrisons found themselves torn between hope and caution. Emily, sensing the growing tension, surprised everyone with a maturity beyond her years. "I'm happy to see you, Jake," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "But I understand if we can't see each other all the time. The important thing is that we're both okay, right?" At that moment, inspired by the Stoic wisdom of accepting what they cannot change, all the adults in the room realized that the final decision should prioritize the children's emotional well-being. The moment of farewell arrived, laden with emotion and uncertainty. Emily and Jake embraced for a long time, silent tears streaming down their faces. When they separated, Jake took from his pocket a small lucky charm he always carried and gave it to Emily. In that instant, something changed in the air. Jake's adoptive parents, seeing the depth of the bond between the siblings, exchanged a look of mutual understanding. Jake's mother stepped forward and with a choked voice said, Maybe we can find a way to keep you two connected." Sarah and Michael, remembering Epictetus's words, "It's not things that disturb us but our judgments about them," realized that this was not an end, but a new beginning. With open hearts and minds prepared for future challenges, the two families began to discuss possibilities. In the months that followed, the two families worked together to build a relationship that would benefit Emily and Jake. Regular meetings were scheduled, and even joint vacations were planned. Emily, strengthened by her brother's presence in her life, began to flourish in surprising ways. Sarah and Michael, reflecting on their journey, realized how Stoic principles had guided them through emotional storms, accepting what they couldn't change, focusing on what was under their control, and constantly seeking virtue in their actions, had transformed not only their lives, but those of Emily and Jake as well. On a quiet evening, as they watched Emily sleeping, peacefully Sarah whispered to Michael, "You know, I think I understand now what Marcus Aurelius meant by live a good life. If there are gods and they are just, then they will not care how devout you have been, but will welcome you based on the virtues you have lived by." Michael nodded, feeling a deep gratitude for the family they had built and the lessons they had learned. Together they had discovered that the true meaning of family transcends blood, residing in the love, courage, and resilience they shared. The Harrisons' journey shows us that true strength lies in accepting what we cannot change and focusing on what is within our control. Resilience, love, and courage are the pillars of a family, regardless of blood ties. Remember, you have the power to turn challenges into opportunities for growth. Stay strong and believe in your ability to overcome any obstacle. Live a virtuous life and inspire those around you. If you enjoyed this touching story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content. Share your own story in the comments below. Your experience can inspire and strengthen the courage of others facing similar challenges. Together, we can create a community of support and resilience.